This is amazing. Ridge walking in Alaska is the best. Perfect time of day for it too. Hello and welcome to the Chena River State Recreation Area. We're about 60 road miles northeast of Fairbanks, Alaska. And we're out here today because we're going to be doing an overnight hike on a ridgeline. It's not super crazy trip, but get us out into the wilderness a little bit. But Jason, I hear you say, you're not on a trail. You're walking down the side of the highway right now. That's true. The reason is the trail we're doing, the Chena Hot Springs Traverse, is not a loop trail. It's a point to point. So start at one place, finish at the other place. And to get back to where I parked my car, I have to cover some road miles at some point. It's about 7 road miles I need to cover. And I kind of figured it would be less annoying if I do it at the beginning of the trip than at the end. So we're starting off with the road walk. To be honest, what I'm actually hoping is that a car will pass by and we can hitchhike back to the start point. But there's not a whole lot of vehicle traffic this far outside of town this late in the evening. There's a few, but not a lot. I've seen one car so far go in the direction I want to go, and they just passed me by. Put my thumb out, and they were like, nope. So hopefully we can get a ride. If not, it's just 7 miles. It'll take about 2 hours to walk. I'll let you know what happens. Still walking here. Just wanted to say there's a porcupine walking in front of me. I don't know if you can see it in the camera yet, the wide angle. Try not to be too loud because I don't think it's aware of me yet. Three miles in, just a little bit of roadside bear poop there. Just found this. Somebody apparently sheared off a wheel stud. I wonder if they even know. Okay, I made it, I think 3.8 miles, and I got picked up by actually someone I know happened to be driving by, Victor here. So we got a ride for half of the hike anyway, or half the road walk. Okay, we made it to the trailhead parking lot at least. Get my bag that's been stashed in the woods here waiting for me. Ugh.
Are you pulling it off?
Because I don't want to put the log underneath.
Oh.
Don't like that?
She don't like being filmed. She's movie shy.
All right, we're on the trail. I did spend about half an hour hanging out with Victor and a few other people. They were grilling burgers in the parking lot there. They just hiked this trail today as a day hike. And we're sort of surprised that I'm going out this late until I explained that I'm staying the night out here. A trail sign, FYI. So we're doing the Chena Hot Springs 8.7 mile traverse. It is right now, hang on, 9:30 in the evening. Is that a late start? It depends on how you look at it, because sunset tonight is at 11:45 p.m. So I've got 2.5 hours before it really gets dark. And of course, we're not covering the entire trail tonight. We're staying the night, like I said. So basically, we're going to do a few miles and then find a campsite tonight. There is a trail shelter. I don't know what kind of shape it's in. Those guys were telling me it's actually not very good. So my plan A was to stay in the trail shelter, but if it's taking too long to get up there or if it's not any good, I did bring my one-person backpacking tent with me, so that's our plan B. Right now we just need to start heading down the trail. First bit of the trail here is just a nice walk alongside the river. Nice birch forest on a hillside. This is Angel Creek right here. Made it to the boardwalk section. Oh, it's a little broken here. Watch your step. Made it to the boardwalk section, which is the first where it starts going uphill. We're not even quite a mile in yet, but I've decided it's already time to lose the fleece jacket. Oh, that probably sounded horrible. That was my microphone. Look at this though. That's the Angel Rocks. Catching the evening light. That's where we're headed. Relatively steep uphill here. I don't know how well that comes across in camera. It's pretty steep though. It feels pretty steep when you're carrying a 40-pound backpack, 42 pounds. If you're curious, that's like a 16-pound base weight. And then you add into that, I've got a bear canister, hard-sided food storage canister, bear spray, large caliber revolver, food and water, all of my videography gear, and my drone. It adds up pretty quick. We're about to come up to the first lookout point here. So right down there in the valley floor is where we started at. Our first good look out here. That's Angel Creek, you can see down there. And those are the Angel Rocks up there. Some of them anyway. There's more further up past those. Let's keep heading up. Last little bit of steep hill here. Last little bit before my normal turnaround point. We're only about maybe halfway up the total elevation gain we have to do. As soon as we get to the top of this little notch here, we should have a good view. So there's a little sort of cavern here. I don't know if I'd go all the way to call it a cave, but it's big enough to crawl through. And it comes out the other side. I don't want to do it right now, but maybe another day we'll come back and do that. There's a danger hole to fall in. A couple of them. Down here is where that cavern comes out. Let's walk up this way. Do watch your step up here. Would not be in for a good time if you went off. Here we are. We're on top of Angel Rocks. But like I said earlier, this isn't where we're stopping. We're going up there and then continuing down, I think, this ridge line. So let's start making some distance. So this says 6.5 more to Chena Hot Springs. Didn't the sign down at the trailhead say 8.7? Because that would imply we've gone 2.2 miles so far. But my watch says we've only gone 1.6. And I think I trust my watch more than I trust the trail signs. So my watch is showing right now a net of 800 feet of elevation gain to get up here from the parking lot. I think we have roughly another 1,000 to go to get to the top of this thing, which is where I want to get to tonight before we camp. And if we've covered, according to my watch, 1.7 miles to here, that means we should be less than 3 miles, roughly 3 miles away from the trail shelter, which is what I want to hit tonight. Right now it's 10:35 p.m., which means we've got a bit over an hour until sunset. Covering 3 miles in an hour sounds really doable. but I am going quite slow on the uphill, so it might not be. And now that we're past that trail junction, like almost everyone who hikes the Angel Rocks Trail stops there. Very few people go past there. So the trail is not going to be as easy to follow. Still quite good right here, but the farther we go, I think the worse it's going to get. So now that we're climbing the second hill up past Angel Rocks, you can see the trees, the plants are a lot shorter, stubbier. This is me for height comparison. And the ground cover, got a lot of lichen here. I think this is called reindeer lichen. Almost barren, little knob here. So we're getting up into the high enough elevation that we're not quite like above tree line, but we're into the places where it gets wind blasted, so the trees don't get very large. It's beautiful though. I love hiking in this terrain. Got some moose nuggets here, right on the side of the trail. Looks like we're about to get back into the trees off of that sort of scrubby hillside. Just a little bit of snow still here, hiding against this hillside. It's May 26th today, if I didn't mention that. Currently 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Whew, I am feeling this hill climb. I'm doing like 10 steps at a time and a couple second breather. I think I've got roughly another 600 feet of elevation to gain, and then the vast majority of the climbing will be done. Wow, look at this, just like rock field. Reminds me of like the Mount Adams lava beds in Washington State. Oh gosh, it's chilly. It's chilly right here. There's nothing breaking the wind. Getting a lot more difficult to follow the trail up here. Seems like there's kind of several paths winding around, and because of that, not any one of them is worn in very well. They just keep diverging and then converging back together. I think that hill over there is where we ultimately want to be headed from here, so I'm just going to look for a path splitting off that way. Okay, well, I was following the trail. Kind of stops right here. Where in the hell do I go? I mean, I know I got to get up this hill. Just going up the rock face seems like just asking for ankle injury. So maybe I'll try to step off. It looks, wow, look at that sunset. It looks like I can walk up over here. A little easier than trying to boulder hop. I have no idea. Welcome to hiking in Alaska. You can't just blindly follow trails or maps. Ah, yeah, right there. I think that's trail. Yeah. Okay, we're still going a bit uphill, but the slope has mellowed out quite a bit. I think at the top of this hill, that's it for tonight's hill climbing at least. There's a little bit of a hill we have to do tomorrow. But I think once we top out this hill right here, it's a mostly level, like ridge walk to the trail shelter. So just a little more uphill to go. What the fuck? There's a park bench up here. I had no idea. Was not expecting this. This must be the summit. God, I'm gonna sit on it. I'll tell you that. Look at this flippin' beautiful scenery. 360 degrees. It's got a 3 written on it, which I assume is miles, because my watch tells me we're at 3.04 miles in. I'm gonna put my fleece jacket back on. Whew. Now that I'm not hill climbing and that I'm in the wind, I'm getting cold. It's 42 degrees right now. By the way, it's 11:40 p.m., which means the sun is setting right now. Another week or so, that's the sun back there. Another week or so, and the sunset will be after midnight. God, that's beautiful out there. That red on those mountains in the distance. Okay, we can't stand around up here and enjoy the view for too long. I've got another, I think, 1.5 miles I want to cover to the trail summit shelter. So looking off in that direction, that ridge line, you can just see the trail on it there. I believe we're going to follow this whole ridge, and then when we come down the other side of it is where we should expect to see the trail shelter. So let's get moving. Bunch of wildflowers just starting to bloom. The tundra up here. Some fireweed. This is amazing. Ridge walking in Alaska is the best. Perfect time of day for it too. Beautiful light. I don't think the tent I brought is the right tent for it, but if you brought just a really nice wind resistant tent up here, just a nice bomb proof tent, just camp right on this ridgeline, that would be awesome. All right, we've reached the end of the ridgeline. We're starting to descend. Now I think we're going to descend to a little saddle, and somewhere around that saddle is the trail shelter. I don't know exactly where it's at. We're just going to have to look around. It's muddy right here, trying to be cautious, somewhat steep and muddy. Pretty steep little descent right here. I think this might be the saddle we're looking for. So somewhere down there is where I'm guessing the trail shelter is at. I don't see anything yet. Okay, no, that wasn't the descent to the saddle we're looking for. This is. Still steep and muddy. I see it. I see the trail shelter. I don't know if you can see it in this wide field of view, but right there in the center of the camera, you can see a light colored small building down there. That's our goal for the night. Let's get down there. Starting to get a little dark. I guess we're testing the low light capabilities on this camera. This is a new camera, by the way. I've never used it before. DJI Action 4. Replaced my old GoPro Hero 5 because I'm just always disappointed with the video quality out of that camera. It looks like shelter 0.0 miles. I disagree. This is definitely a finite distance, not a zero distance. But shelter right here. Oh, by the way, what does this say about markers? 5 miles from the trailhead. Does that agree? Yeah, it does actually. 5.05. Here's our trail shelter. I guess the next question is, well, 2 questions, because you can't reserve this. It's first come, first serve. So has anyone beaten me to this tonight? Is anyone else staying out here? Second question is it in good enough shape for me to want to stay in? I did bring my tent in case we have to fall back. Different plan. Looks like we've got a broken window right here. Yeah, the glass is busted out, but there's still a screen in it. Okay, this is a, good Lord, it's a step up. Here we are. I'm gonna sit on this bucket. I think this is totally workable in here. So there's some junk right over here, but there's enough space. All I really need to do is clear out space for a sleeping pad, right? What is this? What is this? I think I'll sleep on this side of the room. I don't want to lay on whatever that is. Okay, so this is like a piece of masking tape? No idea. No idea. I think this area right here, just off in this corner, is where I'm going to put my bedding. So we'll slip these things out of the way. That's the drone, which we haven't even touched. Glad I carried that weight all this way. Tent poles, which we won't need. There's my quilt. There's my sleeping pad. Those are the things that we do need. What even happened in here, man? It's been like chewed on right underneath this window. There's glass on the floor inside. I don't know how that happened because the screen is still intact. There's a little broom here, so I'm going to kind of sweep up a little bit. Okay, we'll start with the sleeping pad. The pad I brought for this trip is the Big Agnes Rapide SL. Comes with this little inflation sack, but this inflation sack is not anywhere near as good as the one on my X-Pad. Just fill it up with air and roll it up, squeeze air through. It just doesn't work as well as the X-Pad. This material is like too thick, so it doesn't fluff out. It's too heavy to fluff like the X-Pad does. And then it's just not as much volume in the sack, so you have to do a lot more pumps. I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of this pad. All the YouTubers love it, but I'm not convinced. Now let's find my pillow. This is harder to do when I have a light shining in my face so the camera can see me. There it is. This is the Cocoon Hyperlight Air Core pillow. I wouldn't say it's incredibly comfortable, but it does the job. And it's very light. Next up, the Cocoon Silk Travel Sheet. Pillow kind of tucks into that, so it helps hold the pillow in place. And then on top of that is my quilt, which is the REI Magma 30. Which I think is pretty good for the price, assuming you can get it on sale. I'm going to take off my hiking socks and just change into a pair of merino wool liner socks, really thin. And over those, I will pull on these Goose Feet geared down socks, because my feet are always the first thing that get cold when I'm camping, so this solves that problem. Also, because as you can see, it doesn't really get that dark. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I bring a sleep mask in the summer. And I've got my little AM/FM radio that I like to play in camp. And then right next to me in bed, I like to keep my bear spray and my pistol. All right, let's get into the bear canister. Time for dinner. I brought Mountain House Chili Mac with beef. It's one of my favorites. I also brought an Alpine Air Cinnamon Apple Crisp, in case I feel like having dessert. But Brought some Gatorade to add to my water. Brought a Kind bar and a Cliff bar. Got a mug, which doubles as a measuring cup, and a packet of hot chocolate. A spoon. This is toiletries. It's some eye drops, because sometimes the pollen gives my eyes problems. Toothbrush, toothpaste, and some hand lotion. 3 of these goo packets, coffee flavored goo. A couple of gallon Ziploc bags. These are for packing trash out. Fuel canister. And inside this bandana is my kettle that I'm going to heat water in for my meal. Here I've got a mixture of, there's like a beef jerky stick. I'm probably going to have that tomorrow before we hike out. And some little cheddar cheese cubes. I'll probably save those for tomorrow too. But there's also some chili cheese Fritos in here, and I'm going to mix those into my chili mac. Oh, stove. Forgot about that. Stove is in the kettle. It's MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. My water bladder. I hiked in with 4 liters of water, which is probably overkill. 1.5 cups of water. So if we take the koozie off of this mug, you can see it's a measuring cup, up to 2 cups. This handle's hot. Okay, I just got my hot chocolate mixed up. It's time. This stuff is done. So I'm going to pour in the Fritos now. Let me grab the camera, because I want to flip this around and show you. It's what it's like outside right now. It's 1:30 in the morning. This is as dark as it's going to get. It's solar midnight right now, local midnight, whatever you want to call it. Got my radio on. I can't find anything on the AM or FM bands. All I can find is NOAA weather radio. I am starting to get cold now that we're just sitting here, so I'm going to eat my little trail Frito chili pie here and drink my hot chocolate. Then I'm going to shut this door and climb in bed, try to get some sleep. We'll see you in the morning. A helicopter going right over. Interesting. Good morning. I slept great last night. It's 10 a.m. now. I got about 8 hours of sleep. It's 52 degrees out here, and I think we got down to a low of 38 last night. I sort of sporadically checked my watch when I would wake up in the middle of the night. The pack is significantly lighter today because we've eaten the food and drank some water, and I poured out the water that we didn't use because we've only got 4 miles to hike out. So I kept 1 liter of water for the hike out, and that's it. So we've lost probably around 6 to 8 pounds total from what we had carrying in yesterday. So let's get moving. Get the door shut here. Kind of hard to do from outside. Look how the step is huge to get inside. There we go, it's latched. I've already changed out of my fleece jacket from when I filmed that intro a moment ago. I took like 10 steps and decided it was too warm for that. Goodbye, Angel Rocks Trail Shelter. Interestingly, it does not tell us the mileage this way, which is where we're headed. But the mileage sign at the trailhead said 8.7 for the Traverse. And apparently we've covered 5, so that would leave 3.7 remaining. Might actually end up being a little more than that because, of course, we're not just going to the trailhead, we're going to where I parked my car. So we have to kind of walk across the resort a little ways. I think we have one elevation gain today. Oh, actually, I think we have options today. So when you look on the trail map, there's only one way to go to get to Chena Hot Springs from here, the resort. But actually what I've read is that there's an alternate route, and it's like not official. But what I think it does is I think it climbs this hill in front of us and then walks that ridge instead of walking in the valley between the two ridges. So I think that route adds a little more distance and a little more climbing, but it might be worth it for the views. I don't know. I want to keep an eye out to see if I can see this alternate route because we might not even find it. But if I spot it and it looks good, we may take it. Moving past the trail shelter, we're very quickly, and I mean, like we haven't even covered a quarter mile. We're into this burned area. I don't remember which year it was, but it was like maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3. There was a large forest fire up in this area, and it actually threatened to burn the resort. And there's a whole lot of controversy around that I'm not going to get into. But there was a fire here, and we're walking through the remnants of it right now. I think we'll be walking through the burn most of the way to the resort. That's kind of cool, actually. I wasn't really looking forward to just walking in the forest all morning today, but this gives it a bit different vibe. Kind of interesting to walk through and see how the landscape is returning after the fire. And we got more moose nuggets on the trail. A cool little rocky outcrop here. This feature does not show up on the topographic map. I just checked. So I had no expectation of finding something on this part of the trail, but this is neat. I believe we crest this little ridge right here, and then we start descending into the valley. And at that point is where we start looking for the alternate route to go up that hill. It appears that there's a trail sign right up here. So maybe this is our junction, our alternate route that is not marked on the map. The sign must have gone through a fire. I mean, obviously there's been a fire here, but the sign must still be the same sign. So apparently we've covered 1.1 miles from the shelter. Trailhead 6.1. Lodge is 2.2. That's the finish of the hike. None of these signs say what's in this direction, but I'm thinking this is our alternate route. So the main route, the one that's marked on the map, follows this valley, descends in this valley to the lodge, which is right over the shoulder of that ridge over there. The alternate, I'm guessing, is this one that splits off this way. We're gonna find out together. There was a sign here, but it was a wooden sign, and it is all burned up. Well, whatever this trail is, whether it's the alternate or not, it's in a lot worse shape than the main trail. And I mean, it's not like the main trail was a super highway to begin with. I think we're nearing the top of this hill. I hope so anyway. I would like to be done with the hill climbing. There were a couple spots back there that it's actually kind of difficult to follow the trail. I couldn't quite tell where it was supposed to be. I would just walk in the general direction that I think it should go. And after 20-30 feet, I would find a remnant of it again. Definitely on the ridge line now. It didn't quite make it to the summit of that hill. It sort of joined it a little ways down from the summit. And now we're heading back. What even direction is this? North? Are we going north right now? We're going like northeast-ish. Towards the resort. You can tell we are on the ridgeline now though, because it drops off on either side. So I believe from here, it's just a downhill all the way back to the car. Looks like we're about to crest the end of this ridgeline and start heading down, down. We've been on a slight downhill since we attained this ridge, but looks like it's about to get a little steeper. What's that doing out here? Who carried that here? Interesting. I can see the resort down there, Chena Hot Springs Resort. We're not too far out now, just need to get off this hill. All right, we're almost back. I just did a little switchback and we're cutting back in this direction now. Coming down just behind. This is like the back of the resort, the employee housing and stuff. And the resort part of the resort is up there. I don't know if you can really see it from here, but just up ahead, I'm guessing like maybe a mile ahead, I can see the white roof of the ice museum where they have the ice sculptures. I parked my car right next to that, so that's where we're headed to. So I say we're almost done with this hike. And with that in mind, what is my verdict on this hike? I loved it, actually. This was even better than I expected. Being up on that ridge line last night, right around sunset, that was just magical. I highly recommend it if you're in the area looking for something to hike. It's not that far, but it does definitely get you out into the wilderness experience. Some very nice scenery, especially up on the ridge. And I'll even say that if you don't want to deal with the logistical challenge of having the trail start and end at different places and you have to get back and forth, I think the thing to do would just be to park at the Angel Rocks Trailhead and hike up to the ridgeline and hike the ridgeline and then just turn around and come back. You've seen a lot of the best of the trail at that point. So just a little bit of distance to cover now and we'll be done here. Aurorium? I think that's a made-up word. Canoe rentals? Where do you canoe here? I think I unintentionally parked in the RV parking last night. None of these were here yesterday. But there's the car. We're done here. All right. I've still got about an hour, maybe hour and a half drive to get home. But I think we'll call it a video here. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.